All right, let's talk about some takeaways on this motorhome fire. You have to take all the considerations of a vehicle fire, and then you have some structural firefighting components that get added into the mix. Some pre-arrival considerations. In this case, this was dispatched as a vehicle fire with one engine. I had a second engine added because a motorhome is going to be a lot of work. There's going to be overhaul. It could take more than one tank if we don't have a hydrant readily available. So having a second engine fulfills both those by giving you extra hands and extra water. When you arrive at scene, you have to take apparatus placement into consideration, and they always say, uphill, upwind, but in this case, uphill puts you in the wind. So do you choose uphill or downhill? And for me, it was a no-brainer. I think that if you're going to be uphill, you're continuing with some smoke, which you can try and avoid by side of the street. But if you're downhill, you have to contend with potentially a fuel igniting, gasoline leak, or having the brakes fail on it and it start rolling down towards the fire apparatus. And if you get even like a little bit of a tweak in that tire, it could come at you even though you're not parked directly behind it. In this case, the engineer and I weren't communicating very well. He was going to go past it and go downhill. I didn't want to do that, so I had him stop. But it put us pretty close to that motorhome. And that motorhome was putting off some heat. It melted the double yellow line in the middle of the street and was pretty hot at that pump panel. Even though we had some distance, it looks like there, it was hot at the pump panel. And I was a little worried about blistering the paint a little bit, which it didn't, but still. Could have parked a little bit further away. And with good hose line selection, you'll still be able to get around that motorhome. And just to emphasize the risk of parking downhill, like, these things happen. And this shows how it's really good practice to put that wheel block down right away to keep it from rolling like that. Brakes fail and gravity kicks in, and sometimes you get an incident within an incident. It's not funny, sorry. I mean, it is kind of. And if you get a fuel leak going and that ignites and you're downhill, there's a stream of fire coming right at you or potentially at you. So definitely don't see advantage to downhill. And getting back to brake failure, and we look at those tires, they're just a little tweaked, completely changing the direction that truck is going. So if you do park downhill and you think you're safe because you didn't park directly behind it, those wheels can change things. Definitely get that block down. Another consideration is that this can be someone's home. I mean, in this case, this is literally somebody's home. And one of the things I learned about it was that because of that, you can request Red Cross respond, and they ended up coming out and helping these people. Pretty much lost everything that they had. And so whether the fire starts while it's driving or whether it's parked on the side of the road, something to consider is that there might be victims. Also, whether or not that motorhome is driving or parked, another consideration is a propane cylinder and whether it's in use. In both situations, it could be in use. So that's a hazard for us to be aware of. Some of the questions you might want to have if you can find the driver or owner is everyone out? Is the fuel tank full or empty? Is there a propane tank? Is that full or empty? Where is your propane cylinder located? How did the fire start? And so on. Lots of information that can give you good situational awareness. And that wraps up this week's Fire Minute. I hope you enjoyed. Stay safe out there.